Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we cut through the noise and unlock crucial insights. In education, it's like even the absolute best schools, the most successful ones, they still have students facing challenges, right?
Absolutely.
And
Academically, social, emotionally, it's just part of the landscape.
exactly, it's part of the journey. But what if there was a powerful, really systematic framework to proactively deal with those challenges,
Yeah.
to help every student really thrive?
That's the goal.
Well, today we're taking a deep dive into exactly that kind of solution. Multi-tiered systems of supports, or MTSS.
Right. MTSS.
We're drawing from Dr. Howie Knoff's recent blog post. It just came out July 12th, 2025. It's called The Core Characteristics of an Effective Multi-Tiered System of Supports, MTSS. What you need to assess to ensure your fall success, Part 3.
And he's got a whole series on this, right? This is building on previous work.
Yeah, exactly. It's Part 3 of 5. So we're pulling from that and his earlier insights. Our mission today, to really unpack his most critical points for you, if you're a district or school leader getting ready for the new school year.
Good stuff. Timely, too.
Definitely. So let's kick things off with a little pop quiz Dr. Knopf actually puts in his blog. Ready?
Okay, let's do it.
First off, did you know pretty much all public schools getting federal funds are required to have a multi-tiered system of supports?
Required. Okay.
Second, do you actually know the federal definition of MTSS?
That's a good one. I wonder how many people could quote that.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Are you actually required by law to adopt a specific federal or state MTSS framework? What do you think?
Okay, those are really foundational questions. And the answers, they really set the stage. So, first point. Yes, you're right. Almost all public schools getting those federal funds are required to have some kind of multi-tiered support system. Now, the federal definition, it's pretty specific. It's defined as a comprehensive continuum of evidence-based systemic practices to support a rapid response to students' needs with regular observation to facilitate data-based instructional decision-making.
Okay. That's from the Asse, right? Elementary and Secondary Education Act.
Yep, Asse 2015.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker, the answer to your third question.
Yeah.
No. Despite what a lot of people think, the ESA law itself never actually uses the capital letters MTSS as an acronym.
No way. Really?
Yeah. And maybe even more importantly, it doesn't mandate that schools have to use specific federal or state frameworks.
Wow.
Which is huge, right? Because it means districts actually have flexibility. They can tailor their systems to fit their specific kids, their community needs.
That flexibility piece, that's a genuine aha moment for so many leaders, I bet.
It should be.
It means it's not just like ticking a compliance box. It's about being thoughtful, strategic, designing something that actually works for your specific context.
Yeah.
So this deep dive, we're going way beyond just definitions. We want to explore what makes an MTSS system not just compliant, but, genuinely effective.
What makes it work in practice?
So if we're moving past just compliance, what's the real objective here? Dr. Knopf is pretty clear on this, isn't he? It's about ditching that old wait-to-fail approach.
Exactly. That's the fundamental shift. And effective MTSS isn't just, buying some software or adding a couple more intensive interventions on the side.
It's not an add-on.
No. Dr. Knopf calls it a fundamental shift in how the district and its schools actually operationalize MTSS, how they live it day to day. And that impacts, well, basically everything.
Like what?
How you staff, how you train people, how core skills are taught, how you assess kids who are struggling, how you implement interventions, and crucially, how you do that across both general and special education seamlessly.
So it changes the whole approach.
The entire approach to student support.
Yeah.
And this shift, it usually gets organized into those three levels, the tiers.
Year 1, 2, and 3.
Right. Tier 1 is your base universal prevention, early intervention for everyone. Tier 2 gets more strategic, targeted support for groups needing a bit more. And Tier 3 is that really intensive, multifaceted help for individual students with significant needs.
And Dr. Knopf really hammers home the timing aspect, doesn't he? Especially using the summer.
Oh, yeah. He says summer is critical for doing those needs analyses, assessing where you actually stand right now.
And just for context, this blog post we're focused on is Part 3. He already covered quality instruction in Part 1 and discipline and classroom management in Part 2.
Right. Building blocks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But today, we're zeroing in on the core of multi-tiered services and supports. And he breaks that down into organizational structures, staffing and skills, and assessment and intervention.
The nuts and bolts of making it happen.
Okay, so we get the fundamental shift. But the big question for leaders is, okay, how do we actually build this thing? Dr. Knopf starts with the structure, the organizational blueprint. Let's dig into that first characteristic. System-wide principles and practices.
Yeah, this is crucial. The big insight here is that effective MTSS isn't something you just, bolt onto what you're already doing.
Not another initiative.
No, it has to be woven consciously and explicitly into the very fabric of your whole educational philosophy, your strategic plan. It's not about relying on a few individual heroics from amazing teachers, though that happens.
We all know those teachers.
We do. But this requires systemic change. That means you need strong admin support, resources built into the budget, professional development for everyone involved, and a shared understanding of the principles and policies at every level.
And integrating the different education streams.
Absolutely critical. It has to integrate general ed, compensatory ed, that extra support for at-risk kids in special education across all the tiers. No silos.
Can you give some examples of those guiding principles he talks about?
Sure. Things like making sure instruction fits the learning environment. Having all students get research-based instruction in the general ed classroom first, focusing on both academic and social-emotional skills, using differentiated instruction, building positive school climates, and then continuous progress monitoring with good assessments, reliable, valid ones, making decisions based on that data, looking at classroom instruction first when a student struggles before jumping to conclusions.
Right, look at the environment first.
Exactly, and using functional assessment processes to figure out the why behind behavior, and then, only if really needed, doing those intensive multi-factored assessments to get to the root causes.
Makes sense. What's the next organizational piece?
Collaborative leadership. And what's really powerful here, I think, is who's included. It's not just the administrators and principals. It's teacher leaders, specialized support staff, your school psychs, counselors, social workers, and families. Everyone is an active participant, designing it, implementing it, monitoring it together.
And decisions are data-driven.
Totally. Made by teams, district level, building level, grade level, even individual student teams. It's about valuing and actually using all those different perspectives.
Okay, that sounds great, but it brings up a huge practical challenge for schools.
Time.
Exactly. How do you possibly make time for all this collaboration?
Yeah, that's Dr. Knopf's third characteristic, time. And he's really clear. Teams absolutely need regular, scheduled, protected time.
Protected time, not just squeezing it in.
Right. Not ad hoc meetings grabbed between classes or after school when people are exhausted. Time to actually discuss cases, dig into the data, plan interventions, monitor how things are going.
That powerful analogy, right?
Yeah.
About the hospital.
Yeah, it's really good. He says, look, if you're in the hospital for something serious, you expect your medical team to meet during hospital hours, right? Fully present, focused on you. Not trying to figure things out after their shifts end.
Makes perfect sense.
So, similarly, students who need MTSS support deserve their team meeting during school hours when everyone critical is there, focused, and thinking clearly about their needs.
So how do schools find that time? What are some practical ways?
Well, he suggests things like block scheduling, creating common planning times for teams, maybe using ancillary staff strategically, building it into contracted time, or using dedicated professional development days. It takes creativity and commitment.
Okay. And the last organizational characteristic?
Consistent, system-wide procedures. Every district needs these written down, often in an MTSS operations handbook, maybe different versions for elementary and secondary.
Why is that so important?
Consistency. Think about student mobility, staff turnover. You need everyone on the same page following the same process. It ensures things are done consistently across different staff members, different schools, the whole system.
So what's in this handbook?
Everything, really. Who's on the teams, the protocols for how students get identified, the steps for data-based problem solving, how you link assessment results to the right interventions, how you monitor progress, documentation requirements, the works.
And these are non-negotiable.
He says they should be. They're non-negotiable. And it also helps with transparency. Parents and the community know how things are supposed to work.
That's a really solid framework for the organizational side. To make it super practical for you listening, Dr. Knopf includes these diagnostic questions. Let me pull out a few from his 8 questions to evaluate a school's current MTSS organizational status.
Good idea.
Okay, first, is there a clearly articulated MTSS vision with specific principles and practices that are shared by all stakeholders? Do people actually know what you're trying to do?
Foundational.
Second, that timepiece. Are there dedicated protected times within the school day for regularly scheduled team or other meetings? to do the work.
The million-dollar question for many schools.
All right. And third, is there a clear documented process in an MTSS handbook outlining the whole flow identification, assessment, linking to services, monitoring? Do you have that roadmap?
Those really get to the heart of the structure.
They really do.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the blueprint. But, a perfect plan on paper doesn't mean much without the right people with the right skills making it happen.
Absolutely. The human element.
So Dr. Knopf really zeroes in on cultivating skilled staff and making sure expertise is shared.
He does. And he introduces a couple of really interesting tools here. The first one is the Consultation Referral Audit.
Okay, what's that?
It's basically an annual deep dive into your data. Schools analyze all the individual student referrals from the past year, academic, behavioral, whatever, that went to the MTSS team. Then you pool that data district-wide.
What kind of insights do you get from that?
Oh, it's incredibly powerful if you do it right. You can categorize and analyze referrals by, when they happened during the year, which grade levels, which teachers referred, what the main concerns were, what assessments were used, what interventions were tried, and, crucially, what the outcomes were.
And that data tells you?
It tells you a ton. It helps figure out staffing needs, resource allocation, what immediate and long-term PD is required, maybe common tier 2 or 3 strategies your gen ed teachers really need training on, whether you need outside consultants, even how to better engage parents and the community. It drives decisions.
Okay, that's the audit. What's the second tool?
The Consultation Staff Resource Directory. The idea here is, look, a great MTSS needs skilled people, but nobody can be an expert in everything.
Impossible.
So the goal is having teams with complementary skills and making sure everyone gets ongoing professional development. But this directory takes it a step further. He gives this great example. Imagine a student with Tourette's syndrome moves into one of your schools, and maybe nobody on that specific school's staff has deep expertise with Tourette's.
Okay, happens all the time.
Right. But what if, through this directory, you know that another school in your district has 3 staff members, maybe a psych, a SPED teacher, a counselor who do have specific expertise in instruction, assessment, and intervention for Tourette's?
So you can connect them.
Exactly. You can set up cross-school consultation immediately. The experienced staff can coach the team at the new school, provide resources, share strategies. It means immediate expert support for the staff and high-quality services for that student without everyone needing to be an expert on day one.
And that makes so much sense, like building an internal expertise network.
Precisely. So the recommendation is to build this virtual directory, mapping out everyone's knowledge and skills, academic, social, emotional, behavioral, across all 3 tiers, who knows what, where.
I really like that idea, that Consultation Staff Resource Directory.
Yeah.
It really highlights how critical the people are. So again, let's pull out a few of Dr. Knopf's questions for you to think about regarding your staff. From his 8 questions to evaluate a school's current MTSS staff and staffing status.
Okay.
First, do all staff involved in the MTSS process receive ongoing professional development focused on functional assessment and root cause analysis, evidence-based interventions, and collaborative teaming? Are you building those core skills?
Continuous learning. Yeah.
Another key one. Do staff members demonstrate proficiency in interpreting and using data to inform instructional decisions? Can they actually use the data effectively?
Data literacy is huge.
And maybe most importantly, are staff members actively collaborating and sharing expertise as part of the MTSS process? Is that directory idea or something like it actually happening?
For people working together, leveraging strengths. Yeah, those are tough but necessary questions.
Definitely makes you think about your human capital. Okay, finally, let's get to the absolute heart of MTSS, how we actually assess student needs effectively and deliver the right interventions. This is where it all comes together, Ryder.
This is really the core engine of MTSS, and the emphasis here is massively on integrating assessment and intervention across general ed, special ed, and related services.
Breaking down the walls?
Exactly. Dr. Knopf talks about that persistent wall between gen ed and special ed. He's mentioned before these 5 columns holding it up. For MTSS to work, you have to dismantle those barriers.
Makes sense.
So let's look at context #1 he provides. The majority of students with disabilities are taught in general education classrooms. This is huge and sometimes gets overlooked.
Proud of the numbers.
Fall 2022 data showed that 67%, 2/3 of students with IEPs spent 80% or more of their school day in general education classrooms.
Wow, 80% or more. That's most of their day.
Right. So the crucial question for you listening is, for those students, To what degree are their activities, the instruction, the supports, the interventions, actually planned, coordinated, consistent, shared, and strategic between their gen ed and special ed supports? Or is it fragmented?
That's a really pointed question. What's context #2?
Context #2. A successful multi-tiered system runs on a shared and consistent problem-solving consultation intervention approach.
As opposed to?
As opposed to that old reactive model.
Yeah.
Wait for kids to fail, then refer them, test them, place them somewhere else.
The wait to fail model we talked about earlier.
Exactly. The effective approach is proactive. Gen ed teachers identify struggling students early using their classroom data. Then teams collect and analyze information to really clarify the problem, figure out the root causes. Then you link that analysis directly to evidence-based services or interventions that are implemented, ideally right there in the general education classroom. But with consultative support from special ed teachers, school psychs, other related service pros, it's collaborative problem solving in the natural setting first.
Okay. And context #3.
Context #3. Integrating professional development and strengthening consultation relationships. Districts, often without meaning to, create barriers here. Different departments get different training, work in silos.
Right. PD often reinforces the separation.
It can. So effective MTSS requires professional development that gives all staff the knowledge and skills they need to support struggling learners and students with disabilities in general education settings. Think about things like training on the science of reading for every teacher, not just some. Or advanced classroom management strategies that work for students with disabilities, provided to gen ed teachers.
Shared knowledge.
Shared knowledge, shared skills. And he also mentions that MTSS teams should probably oversee the 504 process and plans too. Those are the accommodation plans for students with disabilities who might not need full special ed services but still need support.
Integrating that too.
Yes, and here's a really big one. Special education teachers and related service providers, like school psychologists, absolutely must have dedicated time built into their schedules each week for general education classroom-based consultation.
Not just pull out services or testing.
Exactly. They need time to be in classrooms observing, coaching teachers, co-planning, modeling strategies, actively supporting the implementation of interventions in the gen ed setting, not just doing their own things separately.
That really paints a picture of true integration.
Right.
Okay, let's wrap this section with a few final diagnostic questions from Dr. Knoff about assessment and intervention.
Let's hear them.
Are universal screening assessments administered to all students at least 3 times per year? Are you doing that basic check-in?
The baseline data, crucial.
Is intervention fidelity monitored to ensure interventions are implemented as designed? This is a big one. Are people actually doing the intervention the way it's supposed to be done?
Or is it intervention drift? Yeah, you have to check.
Right. And are data review meetings held regularly to assess student progress and make database decisions about intervention adjustments? Are you actually using the progress monitoring data to make changes?
Closing the loop, using the data to adjust course. Essential.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, it feels abundantly clear, doesn't it? The summer months really are this unique, invaluable window.
Absolutely. For that deep analysis, strategic planning, skill building, all the things needed to really boost your MTSS.
Dr. Knoff's research-backed characteristics and all these probing questions we've discussed, they really give you a clear roadmap, don't they?
They do. A roadmap to pinpoint your strengths, your weaknesses, the gaps in your current system. And that's vital prep work for the new school year, especially, as he notes, with students likely coming back with really multifaceted, multi-tier needs.
More complex needs than ever, perhaps.
Could be. We need to be ready.
So the real challenge now for you listening is translating these insights into concrete actions. Whether you're looking at the whole system, just your school, or even just your own professional development plan, what steps can you take that will lead to measurable improvements for students?
Yeah, bridging the gap between knowing and doing.
And the time to start is, well, now. Dr. Knoff says, even if it is one small step toward the broader improvement that you desire.
Don't let the scale of it paralyze you. Start somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just think about it. How could acting on even one of these insights, maybe protecting team time, or starting that resource directory, or really focusing on intervention fidelity, how could that one change start to shift the success trajectory for kids in your community this fall?
Powerful thought to end on.